went through a number of concerns that she had about the person she's making the complaint about, and you know, and wanted to know how to proceed.
Yep.
Sorry.
Just to let you know, I've started recording on this.
I see that. Yeah, that's fine.
I meant to do that right back at the beginning.
It's fine.
Just
That's fine. Obviously, you're ahead of it. I didn't record my call, so I don't have any evidence of that, I'm afraid.
Oh no, it's okay. For what you're saying and how you're saying it is pretty much the same as what Beth and Anne have said. So, well, that's good. How did it finish? How did it wrap up?
So, I mean, I felt my main role in this was to ensure that the process was available to Beth, but also to make sure that she as an individual was looked after. I did feel some of the things she was raising were concerning, and I have to say, not a particular surprise to me. And we can obviously go into that in a bit more detail if you wish, but I didn't feel, unfortunately, I wasn't surprised by some of what she was saying, but obviously I was distressed at what she was saying and how it seems to have affected her. So obviously, I think both Anne and I wanted to ensure that her welfare was looked after, because I think, you know, this type of behaviour that appeared to be happening can be very subtle, very difficult to prove, and you can be left feeling quite isolated, and it's important to make sure that the person who feels that they've experienced this is looked after, and that's really what my main aim during the phone call was.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
I mean, it ended saying, you know, so through this, I said, you know, I think you do, you know, your experience appears to be quite distressing. It appears to be incompatible with GRC policy, normal human interaction, and certainly would not follow most coaching protocols. And obviously, by making a formal complaint, that obviously exposes you to that process, and you have to, you know, nobody can guide you what you want to do, and you have to make sure that it is something that you feel comfortable doing and feel is the right thing to do. But obviously, if you feel that is what you want to do, you know, Anne and I are here to sort of support that process and see you know, the investigation through. But obviously, Anne and I at that point were leaving the committee, so we were no longer going to be captain and president. And I had to, you know, obviously make sure that Beth knew that whilst she was telling me as captain at this point, I wasn't, you know, I was stepping down, so was not going to be part of that, but would be happy to be a support as an individual, and to make sure the process, if she wanted to do that, was the correct one. I did suggest that she wanted to speak to her father particularly, and I did feel that was probably the right thing to do, to make sure that she was doing the right thing for her. And that's really how we left it. You know, she had to decide what she wanted to do, and, you know, she was going to get back to us.
Right. Do you know if there's, well, right, no, I think I was going to say, do you know, she raised similarly informal approach to Jack as president, and he instigated a couple of a session and to try and resolve the issue.
I think she had a meeting with Jack, and are we naming this person?
Yes, can do.
Yeah, so I think she had a meeting with Jack and Dawn to try to smooth things out.
Yeah. Do you know did she contact you or after that?
Not directly after the meeting, no. I mean, because that was her process. I did know it was I did know it was taking place. I mean, I felt very much that I needed to be, that we all need to be very careful that we're not, encouraging somebody to do something that they're not comfortable with. And I wasn't part of the discussion with Jack and Dawn. I wasn't part of that bit of the process because Beth, after discussion with Jack, had agreed that was potentially a way of moving things beyond the problem. So I knew it was taking place. I don't actually know very much about what was discussed, nor the sort of process and outcome. I do know that Beth doesn't feel that actually made a difference. That I do know that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to establish her, because she went following that. Subsequently, an amount of time passed, but she following that she went to Mark Centre at Scottish Rowing.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was the
Well,
only route that she saw open to her at the time.
I think she went after the meeting with Jack. I think other people, not me, I'm not in charge of a group of female rowers, but other people had said, look, why don't you come and just join our group? But I think she wanted to proceed. She wants to train seriously. She wants to race. I mean, she's a lot younger than me. She wants to be part of an active competing group, and felt that the only group that really was sort of open to her was the group that Dawn arranges and coaches. So I think she felt that nobody should be made to feel that they couldn't be part of a group. So I think she felt pretty determined that she should, that group should be open to her. She's the same age group as they, as the others, really. She's got a lot of rowing experience. I think she felt she wanted to be part of that group and attempted to, to move things along. But I think I do know that she feels that the problem continued. I think because it's a small club, because neither Anne nor I were on the committee, and she'd already met with Jack, the president, and Dawn, captain, and the person who the complaint is against. I think she felt she didn't really have. I think she wanted to speak to Mark Centre to see why, what else, one, is she, is what she is experiencing something that should be dealt with in this way? And two, how does somebody like, how does Scottish Rowing view that, and how they move it forward? So I think she did feel, I'm sort of maybe putting words in somebody else's mouth, but I think she did feel that was a reasonable step to take, and was I suppose an independent person, because I think in this type of rather subtle behaviour, it can be difficult to know whether you start to feel that you're the one with the problem, not the individual. So I think she wanted to speak to somebody who was not involved.
Yep. Fair enough. Thank you for that. Have you got anything, Kenny?
Yeah, I've got quite a lot to say, actually, if that's possible.
To be honest, we've got to keep this as tightly controlled to this complaint
Yep.
as possible.
So
do-
I would like to say that I have been affected by Dawn's behaviour. I know you've had Anne, and I'm sure Anne has said a lot too. I have been affected by Dawn's behaviour. I did not make a formal complaint at the time because I was captain, and you know, one feels that one should be able to, you know, manage a club and a group of people. Part of the reason I stepped down as captain was that you know, I did not really want to be on a committee with him. I've got plenty of emails and plenty of WhatsApp messages from him that would show you the experience that I've had with him. On a number of occasions, I have been in tears with him. His behaviour is unacceptable. He is a bully. He has no respect for anyone. The messages that and emails that you get, the tone of them is unacceptable. If I need to make a formal complaint to take this further, then I'm quite happy to do that, and I'm quite happy to meet with you again to go through my complaint. I also have to say, and this is not against you or Kenny, the investigating panel is probably less than ideal in that, you know, this is a bullying, and it is largely against women. Other members in the club have had episodes of bullying from him, particularly Jonathan, I think, has experienced it, and Andrew Laird has had episodes of it. His behaviour is not acceptable, and his behaviour is nasty.
Yep. That's the impression I'm getting. But as I say, this
I understand this is
particular one has
about
to be-
Beth, but
yeah.
I was part of the group when Beth was in it. Unfortunately, this type of bullying is extremely subtle, and it's often done. It's every individual episode appears petty, and if one complains about it, you think, you know, it is very easy to see that it appears very petty. But you put it together as a collection of approaches and communications, and it becomes an episode of undermining, disbelief, poor behaviour, and it is very difficult to manage because you start to feel that it is just against you, and of course it's not. And this is it appears it is not. Anne and I met him at his request in the boathouse, and he just belittled us. He undermined us. He made fools of us, and he started laughing at us. He was behaving like a child.
I think sort of I don't take exception to the fact that you don't think maybe we're particularly appropriate or not because we're males, but I do believe that the process is going to be reviewed as per the Scottish Rowing Guidelines, and my understanding is that there will be a female member of the review panel when that comes round. Once our job here is purely to gather information and not initially to pass any judgment on anyone.
No, I understand that. And again, not against you, Kenny, as an individual at all. But of course, in a small club like this, you have a lot of experience of this individual and could not really be said to be unbiased. And that's not, we've all got bias, conscious or unconscious. You've known him for a long time, and it's difficult to take that out of the whole situation. It's a very difficult situation.
Yep, I'd agree.
And I'm sure you didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up to being harangued at committee meetings, having him huffing and puffing, having his feet in the desk, bored as anything. Anything I said, you know, I was wrong. Nothing I said was right. Everything I said was met with an eye roll and a tone that suggested, and I am interpreting, that, you know, you're an old woman, what do you know about it? You've got no idea about rowing, and you know, you really shouldn't be here, and really, you know, I should be the captain instead. And he started behaving like the captain well before he was elected captain.
All noted, and
Thank you.
I've taken a note of a couple of names you mentioned there, so I'll probably follow up on that. But I would say, because this one is targeted very much at Beth, and it's an evidence-based report that we're pulling together, I would say that you're probably best raising a complaint if you feel that that's the best approach. We will put in recommendations on our report as to what's done about it, but what the review panel and what the committee are advised to do, I can't say what that will be.
No, of course not. I would like to say that I have considered leaving the club on many occasions in the last year because of his behaviour. I don't even know why I'm still in the club, to be honest.
Fran told us the same thing.
Yep.
As you'll know, yeah.
Yep. And Anne and I haven't discussed this process at all, but obviously, you know, I have to be very honest. You know, we have discussed this at length on just about every encounter we have had with him. We have had to help one another through the process to make sure that we are dealing with it correctly. We have been. I'm quite happy to provide my WhatsApps and my emails from him. And I think I am going to unfortunately make a formal complaint, because it is. I think Beth has been treated very badly. His coaching is not he might be good technically, but he's not a good coach. He does not treat people well.
Mm-hmm.
He does not treat people even within the normal bounds of coaching.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll. I don't know if Kenny or I will be invited to investigate that complaint, but I hope it does get resolved to your satisfaction.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I mean, to be honest, personally speaking, I don't want to investigate any complaints, but we kind of get dragged into this one. So
no, I understand, and I don't think it's been needed before this, unfortunately, and you know, I have never, you know, I'm a robust individual. I deal with the general public every day. I honestly have not come across such a difficult interaction or communication or behaviour as this, and that's saying something.
But I maybe missed a bit because somebody was trying to contact me earlier. But I think if you could share your WhatsApps,
yep,
with us, that and communications, that would be extremely helpful.
Okay.
And if you sort of, Steve's more IT literate than me, right enough, but
yeah, well, I'll pass them to you, Steve, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep,
thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Okay,
time.
thank you. Thanks for
Right.
doing this. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Right,
Bye-bye.
bye.